It's like an entry in a boxing fight. The-
Especially after such a lovely hype up. Thank you for the kind MC. Eric, welcome. You are the co-founder and CEO of Bitpanda, one of the leading crypto platforms in Europe and Austria's first unicorn companies that reached the 1 billion valuation for a few years now. Before we talk about the 2030 scenario, I understand that you have a special announcement to make on behalf of Bitpanda.
Yeah, so this morning, I mean, this is also going hand in hand with our topic today, right? Because the topic is, in my opinion, that 2030, we said, the whole sector is moving into the more regulated banking environment. So we all had the idea at the beginning, it's everything DeFi, but let's be real. When you reach a certain point and significance and money is involved, politicians won't let you do what crypto was 2012 or something. So now you see travel rule is coming in place, MiCA is coming in place. In the end, what we're doing is removing the old legacy infrastructure of the banking and financial system and use blockchain, stable coins for settlements, for example, and all these things, and replace the old banking system step by step. So this is pretty much the scenario long term. And and today we announced that we're doing a partnership. We're working closer together in France with Société Générale, and they have a great team with Forge, and it needs people in the banking sector like Jean-Marc and Guillaume from Forge to really embrace the whole change. And you see that some banks are opening up. Société Générale is one of the first. We're working also with Deutsche Bank in Germany to explore more things we can do with the whole digital asset space. And now we're starting to list the stablecoin. Is the first fully regulated stablecoin and the first one that was issued by a global bank. So there are every year, if you zoom out, right, every year you see these steps moving forward, moving ahead, that we're becoming, that crypto, blockchain, digital assets, stable coins, also DeFi, are all moving into our daily lives, replacing existing infrastructure, and politicians now also have to deal with it. And you see that with MiCA. MiCA is pretty much like the cherry on top, saying like, okay, this will not go away anymore. Now we have to put it into law because it will be, it will have a big future in the world of finance.
So in some sense, we could say that this emerging regulation, the MiCA bill in Europe, is a testament or a sign of the industry staying here for the long term and of politicians just embracing the technology.
Yeah, exactly. This is what we see. I mean, Bitpanda exists since 2014, but we started 2013 already. And you see, with every year, people and politicians, they are opening up. At the beginning, nobody was talking to us. I had the struggle. We had the struggle of getting bank accounts. Every crypto company at the beginning had to struggle to get bank accounts, right? But you need to get the, let's say, more traditional old fiat money into the new system. So at the beginning, we already, without having a regulation, without having the law in place, we already had to play by the rules of the banks. So actually, you can say the banks were our regulators before there was regulation. And nowadays, you see everybody has to deal with it. And I mean, look at what's going on in the US right now. The US election there's a lot of stuff going on where crypto is involved inside in the election. It's a big topic. Trump made it one of the key points to embrace crypto. I mean, who have thought this 10 years, even 5 years ago? So the whole adoption is moving quite quickly, and it's very, very important to see that what I mentioned before, that these big banks have the right people in there to be on the forefront, because there will be many banks that will fall behind. And they will die, but this is a natural election of every technology. When a new technology comes, the one that embraces it on the long run will win, and the others, have to find their path or just simply die. Yeah.
Speaking of big banks, Bitpanda is working with some of the world's largest banks at this point, including Societe Generale and Deutsche Bank. From your perspective and from your conversations, what are banks mainly interested in? Is it stablecoin offerings? Is it portfolios for the clients?
It is very mixed. So we decided beginning of 2020 to do what we call a BTS, Bitpanda Technology Solution. If you haven't heard of it, it's pretty much our way of thinking of how AWS was built, right? So Amazon built the infrastructure for themselves, and now they're the biggest web service provider, so infrastructure provider for everybody. And we have built everything on our own, plus getting the license on our own, so we own all the infrastructure. And then we said, you know what, we see our platform as the biggest customer of our own technology, so let's also offer it to others. And now we're not just offering it to others for a white label solution or for custody or tokenization, but also start with banks to do the first projects and develop together. So you see that this is actually becoming a big part. The whole infrastructure game, in my opinion, is the #1 part who leads the future of finance.
Infrastructure is definitely important, and that's partly why all these banks are joining Bitpanda.
Infrastructure in combination with regulation, because it doesn't matter how much you want to believe it, there is no way money flows in the world without regulation in the digital age. It's impossible. So you have to work with the regulators, you have to work with the politician, and bring all stakeholders on board. And then we win, and we have a much more efficient society and system across the world. And just think about cross-border transaction. It's so much easier for people in Africa or everywhere, like in India, to do cross-border transaction. They just need internet. You have now internet with satellites everywhere. You just need a smartphone. And just a little piece of software where you implement travel rules and so on. And then all these companies that are, let's say, keeping people down, like, for example, Western Union and so on, they're charging 20% in African countries, which is completely insane, right? That this is allowed. This is gone. This is gone then in the future. And then countries have a much better time, and it's much easier for them to catch up and to be integrated in the global digital age.
Would you say that this continued adoption, especially from financial institutions, will force more banks and more traditional finance firms to adopt stable coins and crypto or payment means with more efficient transaction fees?
Yes, but it's with every technology, right? You can't force people to switch to something until you get forced to do it. When something is more efficient, when it's cheaper, then you have to adopt, right? So I always bring the example, when people say, oh, you have to stop eating meat and so on, right? People will not stop eating meat. They will always go for the cheapest option. When the technology comes and, for example, artificial meat, lab-grown meat is cheaper and better than the classic mass production of meat, for example, then everybody will switch and the old system will down. Until then, it's always a matter of price and what is available what is most convenient for people. So when we embrace the technology and more people come, more banks are joining in, then the whole technology will be adopted much faster, and everything will get cheaper. And this is then, let's say, bring the financial technology to the internet.
That's a great prediction, Eric, but I'm afraid we're slowly running out of time. Yeah. Is there anything else perhaps you'd like to share with the audience?
No, I'm good. I mean, but it's a great event. I like it here. And we also have a stand there. So the team, whenever you have questions of what we're doing, especially in the whole infrastructure game, we're also working with other crypto players, not only with banks. So the team is here. In case you have questions, let us know.
Thank you for your time, Eric. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Bitpanda's Eric Demuth.